news! Kris Jenner walked through Paris last week looking like she stole Kendall's face and glued it on.
There it is. There it is. Where are we? Paris! Bitches!
Honestly, kind of creepy, but hey, new face check. Perfect hair, glass smooth cheeks, and not even a bit of a jowl. Heck, she practically looked like she went back in time, arguably looking better than she did in her 50s, and she's 69. From there, we practically got every single TikTok plastic surgeon trying to explain how Kris Jenner looks like she's 25 again.
Okay, you guys, I think Kris Jenner got the Lindsay Lohan. This picture is insane. I mean, she looks like Kendall. She looks 20. Her skin looks beautiful. I mean, she's beautiful. This is some good work. This is crazy.
There's like literally nothing to say but be speechless.
But this is not just any facelift. This is a deep, plain facelift reserved for the very richest of the rich. This is not like what Mickey Rourke got. This is much more what Lindsay Lohan received. Not just one of those lazy facelifts where they basically staple and cut off your loose skin and then just kind of pull it back. Kris is 70 and she's not messing around. She wants to be the newest Kardashian sister and she's en route. This specific type of facelift can set you back $100,000 from a good surgeon. That's still less than a Himalayan Birkin, so I think Kris is fine. Mark my words, she's gonna be attending the next Knicks game with Timothée Chalamet and Kylie, and she's gonna be Pete Davidson's date.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where today's story starts. Because Kris Jenner is not the first woman to trade 6 figures for a brand new face, and she certainly won't be the last. We are at a point in time where facelifts are truly trending on every girlie's For You page. From Lindsay Lohan to Christina Aguilera, everybody is gunning to look 20 years younger again. And now they are calling this the undetectable era of cosmetic work. And all of this is fueled by one very brutal truth. Older women are not allowed to age and look older anymore, at least not in public. Ladies and gentlemen, let's buckle up and prepare for impact because this is about to be a crazy ride and I truly don't think you're ready for it. Before we get into any tea and any sort of slander, we need to truly understand what Kris's procedure was all about because this is a brand new league of facelift, the deep plane technique. And the internet just keeps on throwing that phrase around without even slowing down to understand what it truly means.
We need to talk about Kris Jenner's new face because the change from last year to now is very noticeable. At 69 and looking like this, she's likely someone who's had surgical treatments over time to maintain her appearance. If we look at Kris's face from last year, mainly in the lower face we can see jowling and laxity around the neck area. And this is her recently. There's a significant change in her facial contours and overall structure. Of course, there are makeup and filters involved here, so let me show you some video clips. Here you can see the clear difference to the definition of her jawline and neck. To achieve this sort of transformation in someone in their late 60s, this would likely involve a deep plane face and neck lift, blepharoplasties, fat grafting. This really is full face rejuvenation at its best. This is likely revision surgery because she most certainly would have had surgical procedures in previous years. What do you think of Kris Jenner's new look? Let me know in the comments.
Facelifts, blepharoplasties, fat grafts, what else is on the menu? Caviar, Kris? Lindsay Lohan and Kris Jenner have the same doctors for sure. Oh, don't worry, baby, we'll get there. She looks disturbingly like Kim, like literally like Kim and Kendall. Maybe because it's their mom?
In 2025, the hot plastic surgery procedure is actually going to be the deep plane facelift in the younger patient. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of younger patients decide to forego filler and get a more long-lasting correction in the form of a deep plane facelift. You know, they'll get their skin work with either microneedling or laser, and they will get fat transfer to add volume back to areas that need it. So they get a more natural, corrected aesthetic. Even though they're young, they're going to want something that looks more natural, undetectable, and usually a deep plane facelift with fat transfer is the way to go.
I'm turning 36, but planning to get a deep plane facelift when I'm 40. You guys, this is a new level of crazy that I have never seen in my entire life. So your face is made up of 4 layers. Skin on top with a thin layer of fat underneath, a sheet of muscle and fascia called the smaz, and finally a slippery layer, the deep plane, where nerves, blood vessels, and more fat sit on top of the chewing muscles. Back then, facelifts from the 80s would cut skin and pull it way back and stitch it really tight, which is why so many people's rich aunties kind of just ended up with that wind tunnel cheekbone effect. But later on, surgeons learned to tuck and fold the smaz layer. But even that still left the cheek fat at half mast. A deep plane facelift works deeper and wider. The surgeon opens the same ear-hugging incision, yet dives under the smaz rather than tugging it from above. Once they slide into that hidden glide space, they can loosen the fibrous ligaments that pin the cheek pad to the cheekbone, free the jowl pad from the jawline, and release the platysma bands that droop under the chin.
Why are deep plane facelifts so expensive, and why doesn't every surgeon offer these? Because they're technically challenging. Below this smaz layer is the facial nerve. So if that nerve is injured, you can't move your face, or it moves incorrectly. More technically challenging operations require experience, training, and a very meticulous surgeon. That's why not everyone is doing them. That's why they're more expensive. That's why Kris looks so great.
And looks like Janice Ian in that purple suit. Sorry, I said it. Then they tuck the whole package, skin, fat, and smaz together, back to the spot it sat in when that patient was 25. Because the blood vessels stay attached to the overlaying skin, there's much less swelling, less shiny tension, and a much softer result that lasts longer.
What is the difference between a deep plane facelift and a traditional skin lift? The deep plane involves the smaz, which is connective tissue from the cheek all the way down to the neck, and it helps to elevate all the facial structures in a very natural way. If you use the deep plane, it often lasts longer, looks more natural, and does not have a windswept look. Who is a candidate for a deep plane? Almost anybody that needs a facelift would benefit from elevating the smaz utilizing the deep plane layer. A skin lift, which has been around since the beginning of facelifts, just elevates the skin. Who's a candidate for a skin lift? Is a patient who has just a little bit of extra skin in the cheek area and just needs a slight elevation. One can't expect a lot of jowl correction or neck correction just by elevating the skin. The average age for a facelift is actually going down.
There is some peer-reviewed research from NYU and UT Southwestern that state that you have about 10 to 15 years before gravity wins another round, which actually doubles the lifespan of older facelift types. But all of that magic is very slow, painstaking work. A first-class deep plane facelift runs around 4 to 6 hours in the operating room, usually under general anesthesia, and patients go home with drains, compression dressings, and a face that looks like it just lost a boxing match for the first week. Plus, the numbness can actually last around 3 months while the nerves knit themselves back together.
The area of numbness typically is in front of the ear itself, as well as the neck. Dissection in this area causes disruption of nerve fibers to the skin itself, and that causes the numbness, and it takes time for these nerve fibers to regrow and ultimately give you sensation of the skin again. Everyone's different. For some individuals, it starts coming back in weeks, and others it takes several months or so, possibly even up to a full year. There's nothing concerning about it, but I will say that you do want to be cautious when you're curling your hair, you're blow drying your hair, or you're bringing anything warm around your skin to make sure that you don't burn yourself.
This is a Morgan & Morgan legal alert. Emerging reports reveal that hair color products may not come with clear warnings about potential health risks. If you or someone you know frequently handles hair color chemicals like a salon worker and have been diagnosed with bladder cancer or other cancers, Morgan & Morgan is committed to holding the responsible parties accountable. You can go to forthepeople.com/LaelH to start a claim now. The price tag in Beverly Hills or Manhattan floats anywhere north of $100,000, mostly because not enough surgeons have the training and because malpractice insurers know that one swift, incorrect move could actually drop a lip or freeze a brow for the rest of your life. So why trade 6 figures for a summer of swelling just for a tighter jawline? Partly because at this point, filler is truly showing its age. Repeated hyaluronic acid injections stretch the ligament net under the skin and migrate into odd pockets, creating that mushy pillow face that everyone keeps roasting on TikTok. This is why so many of these facelift celebrities are moving on to changing their face completely because of their prolonged use of fillers. If you think Kris Jenner or Anne Hathaway or Christina Aguilera, they are not unknown to have had fillers in the past, and they obviously age you very much over time, which is why this massive transformation seems so otherworldly and why they look so much better.
I've been saying for a really long time that this female obsession with cosmetic procedures shows that we're not in a good place, and finally people are acknowledging something's wrong because women don't really look like human beings anymore, and they're calling it pillow face. Pillow face refers to this new trend where hundreds of thousands of perfectly beautiful, healthy women, in trying to become even more beautiful, even more perfect, are literally disfiguring their faces with filler. And not only does filler never really dissolve, which causes pillow face, it also messes with the lymphatic system, which can cause cancer. So even though filler doesn't improve the way we look, and it's also a risk to our lives, we women can't stop doing it. Because we've bought into the message that we women have an expiration date, and God forbid we show any signs of aging, we become completely irrelevant. So we will do anything to stop that from happening, including disfiguring our faces or risking our lives.
Now, everybody's starting to talk about something known as filler fatigue syndrome. This means that some patients some as young as their late 30s run into a doctor's office asking to get all of their fillers dissolved to just do one final lift. One final snatch.
All right, so another really hot topic and sort of trending topic is something called filler fatigue. What the hell is filler fatigue? It's actually been much more popularized by celebrities, as are most cases. Simon Cowell, Courtney Cox, Black China, people like that suddenly came into the media and are like, oh my God, I'm reversing all my filler. So this is how filler fatigue works. You go to your practitioner, whoever that is, and it's usually some very low-level individual. You go in and you get injected with filler, and you go home and you're like, oh my God, wow, I look really good. And that filler is supposed to last, I don't know, let's say about a year. And sometime around 6 months, you start panicking like, I think it's wearing off. You go back to that practitioner, you said, am I crazy or is it hollowing out? And they're like, oh, absolutely. Now, mind you, there's still plenty of filler left. And you get 2 more syringes done. You go home, you're like, I think that looks better. And then this cycle continues. So imagine 4 steps forward, 2 back, 4 forward, 2 back, and now all of a sudden you're over here. Very, very gradual. And then all of a sudden one day you go and you look at a photo, you're like, oh my God, I look terrible. All the while everyone around you knows you look terrible. And so one day you have this epiphany that I'm overfilled and I need to reverse it. When that's something that happened to you incrementally. Who's to blame? The practitioner, the damn person injecting you, the greedy individual that should have said, no, you're fine. I can still see the filler there. So the reality is that A, you need to be careful because fillers, while they work amazing, is a slippery slope to balloon face. And really at the end of the day, you're the one who needs to be careful.
Did he just randomly say low-level individual? Like, why was that so shady? If he's talking like an injector is a low-level individual, I would be known as pond scum to him. Like, I would be the tadpole at your nasty-ass school park. But how does it happen to wealthy people who have access to the best practitioners? Like, I would think celebrities would work with better people. You'd think so, but everybody wants your coin, girl. Not just the celebrities, they want your coin as well. So if somebody's coming in with big, thick, deep pockets, obviously they're gonna say, Courtney Cox, you do need a little more. Just a little bit more, girl. Money. Pay up. For Kris Jenner, who's now going to be 70 this year, the deep plane path actually makes a bit of sense. Cameras will follow her until the day she dies, and a single heavyweight surgery buys her a decade of a crisp jawline for her Hulu show. And it also explains why her change looked so dramatic so fast. A normal smaz lift leaves a lot of clues. Dog ear folds by the ear, hollowness by the mouth. If someone did a deep plane properly, especially when you add a fractional laser to polish off the skin and sprinkle fat grafts under the eyes, you can erase all of those tells. That's why people scrolling around online looking at Paris Fashion Week were so surprised when they saw Kris looking so young, especially with that new hairstyle. I found it very interesting that this headline reads, Kris Jenner swaps her signature short hairstyle for a new pixie bob with bangs, and fans are obsessed. This is a prime example of the look over there theory, which is something that these celebrities have been using for decades. Celebrity goes and gets some sort of dramatic work done, like a nose job, blepharoplasty, facelift, but at the same time they'll come out, oh my gosh, with bleach blonde hair, or maybe a very dramatic eye makeup look to help distract you from the work that they've gotten done. I find it very ironic that she decided to sport this brand new hairstyle while sporting her brand new face. Now, this doesn't mean that deep plane facelifts are perfect. Deep plane facelifts still form hematomas in about 3% of cases. If a clot isn't drained fast, the skin can suffocate and die. Smokers and diabetics heal poorly, which is typically why they're turned away.
Hi, day 10 post-op, and yesterday I went to see my surgeon to be signed off fit to fly. However, as soon as he saw me, he said, you have had a hematoma and we need to address this straight away. When I had my surgery, the surgeon said that he had a lot of issues with my blood pressure. It was very high and he had a problem stabilizing me. Never had blood pressure issues before, and they made me stay an extra night in hospital to have it monitored hourly, and within 24 hours it had completely stabilized again. So they actually think it was just my body, a trauma response to going through that procedure, which sometimes happens. Now, however, because of the elevated blood pressure during surgery, that meant that when I was being stitched up, the blood was under more pressure, and so the swelling was more. And with a hematoma, the blood pools in one area of the face. Now, sometimes a hematoma, the body can break that blood down and just absorb it back. Sometimes it can't, and in my case, it hadn't done. This area was always more swollen than the rest of the face and should have been going down at the rate that the other swelling was, but it was staying firm and swollen. So what he had to do was aggressively massage the area, and because I was only 9 days post-op, the stitching are still not actually healed. So after him aggressively pushing my face 3 or 4 times, it just exploded, basically, from 2 stitch points, one in front of the ear and one behind my ear. Now, I'm not showing my stitch points close up because the other day TikTok gave me a violation for showing.
This just goes to show you that no matter what surgery you're getting and no matter how many different complications you're aware of going into surgery, you have no idea what could happen. Even in perfect patients, 1 in 20 will wake up with weakness in one branch of the facial nerve. Most people recover in a couple weeks, but this is why this procedure has stayed underground for such a long time. It demands an obsessive surgeon and a fearless patient. None of those obstacles stop this crazy trend though. TikTok feeds this frenzy of bite-sized before and after clips that totally negate the 4 hours spent on the operating table, acting as if it's as easy as a keratin blowout. And obviously, when all the tea came out about Kris Jenner's new face, you've got tons of creators like this one absolutely hyping her up.
Guys, Kris Jenner's got a new face. She looks fresh out the fucking womb. And let me tell you something now. I know I've built my career on, age gracefully, you don't need filler, doesn't matter if you've got acne. Fuck what I said, yeah? When I reach 50, I'm scalped. I want to be pulled back to the 9. And originally I was okay with having me tits hanging to me knees, looking like one of them wrinkly dogs, but no more, yeah? She looks fucking incredible. She looks like she's just learning her ABCs, and it's changed me. Never been put under anaesthetic before, but let it fucking be. I will do it. I will put that breathing tube in me. I'm there. What a woman.
Jokes aside, I understand the parody behind this, but there are so many types of videos just like this one that are absolutely praising her work, and it is becoming a new beauty standard right in front of our eyes. And whenever a star like Kris Jenner pops out looking 20 years younger, every single surgeon in Los Angeles on a Monday morning is going to be sitting there with their clients telling their patients that fillers will never get them that same result. But this does beg the question, why is it that at this point in time, whether it's a celebrity or not, why are all of us women just so terrified to age? And what can we do about it? In order to answer this question, I have to go back and understand the timeline of women's beauty entirely. And when we started to see this entire idea of women trying to erase every single wrinkle on their face, even before it appears, which is kind of a difficult mission because of course it seems like this is something that us women have been obsessed with since the dawn of time. And unfortunately, it seems like over the years, our worth is so deeply tied to our age and what we look like, which is such BS. Get me out of here. But there was definitely one thing that I noticed. When lockdown shoved every single person indoors, makeup sales tanked while ring light sales just absolutely skyrocketed. And after COVID, well, that was around the time that videos tagged as #skincare routine quadrupled between 2020 and 2022. And every single clip came with tons of links to retinoid creams and peptides, and especially the whole Korean skincare movement. The entire marketing language changed too, because at the end of the day, beauty trends will change once the girlies have said that they've had enough. Right before this new skincare wave, there was the baddie era, the glam looks, matte lipstick, massive eyelashes, and really thick eyebrows, none of which I have given up. I love all of it for myself. And I think at some point, the girlies decided that they needed a change. After COVID, people couldn't just jump back into a night out. And because of that, the crazy makeup look sort of died out. And in their place came these skincare products. Of course, companies switched up their marketing surprisingly fast. Since less women cared about foundation and concealer, they started pumping money into serums and moisturizers. Everyone simply wanted to flaunt how naturally beautiful they looked. And that meant having no wrinkles, full lips, and a perfect facial structure. And of course, in walks a clean girl aesthetic, but that's another tale for another time. Like, end me now. We don't need that anymore.
Guys, so my glow up tips video went viral, and in the comments you guys were like, oh, but you're naturally pretty, Gabby. Now, I look like this every day. I don't use filters on TikTok, but there are tips and tricks to maintain it.
And if you weren't already naturally born with all those perfect features, well then don't worry. That's what all these Botox and fillers are for. Dermatologists on TikTok now state that the ideal age to start using Botox is 23 years old. The very number that most women are still using a student ID to get discounts at the movies. And obviously everything is a cash grab nowadays and everybody wants your money. And sure, taking care of your skin is a great thing, but that's not the big issue here. Most routines start with logic. Sunscreen prevents skin cancer and retinoids help with acne. But now nobody really cares about healthy skin. They just don't want to age anymore. Because sure, preventative Botox doesn't kill you most of the time, but it's it's just not skincare either. It's just another way and some sort of attempt to make you look young forever. So now every single person is using FOMO and fear-mongering to make women feel that if they do not buy the serum number 152, they're gonna start sagging and the jowls are gonna come out, and if they don't get Botox at 22, my God, they're gonna look old forever. And as much as we're seeing so many people absolutely thrilled about Kris Jenner's new face, you're also seeing a lot of women at the same time talking about the reality behind it all.
Here's my thing with Kris Jenner's face. Oh my God, she looks so good. That's awesome. You can be fuckable in your 70s now. That's great. That's great. They still don't have a cure for endometriosis, but thank God I can go to my grave and people will be like, she open casket funeral, like she looks like a baby. She looks like a baby even though she was 95. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Can somebody put me down?
Heavy on the endometriosis cure. Still have to be awake for an IUD insertion. Mama, that was literally me. Like, hands up for the girlies that survived war. Like, Kris Jenner can look 35 at 70, but Jennifer Aniston still cannot have children. They still don't know what causes PCOS, but at least my body can always be appealing to some guy. Because these beauty standards are what matters more to anybody than anything ever. It seems like it is the most important thing, specifically to the people that are on TV. They simply cannot age and they don't want you to know that they are anything like us plebeians. I saw after Kris Jenner released her brand new face drop, girlies, new face drop, she ended up doing an ad for Lancome. It was for some sort of skincare product, and there she is sitting with her brand new baby face promoting a skincare product with a filter on. Is that not a triple whammy? That is absolutely insane. The things that they are trying to sell you so badly to make you buy the products, because not only does she not use the Lancome product, not only does she not look like that with the filter, but not only does she naturally not look like that because she has had thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of work done. It is the biggest farce that we could ever see in our time. We are losing the plot of what life is truly all about. I saw a creator one time say that I don't think we're supposed to be 70 looking like we're 20 years old. I don't think we're really supposed to be that worried about wrinkles because I kind of want to be a little bit more worried about my grandchildren. Am I not loving and basking in my age right now? Sure, but I'm also going to be 30 soon. Do I sit here and wish I looked like when I was 18? Not, to be fair, I look the hottest I've ever looked now. That, like, I just am getting hotter with age, and something about that I love. But also, like, I didn't have life figured out back then, and who would I be if I wanted to trade where I'm at now to look how I did back then? That is stupid. I truly think that we have to start looking at all of these celebrities with less than a grain of salt at this point. Sure, it's fun. Sure, it's great to have a giggle. It's great to have a laugh, but we have to understand where we are in real life and, like, come back down to earth, because this reality is so far beyond what we could even imagine. The fact that Kim Kardashian had an entire celebration for her law certification when not only did she not pass the bar, like, she is as much a lawyer as Katy Perry is an astronaut. Like, it's getting cringe, and it is so genuinely performative. And the only reason that I get so riled up in these videos is because there are so many impressionable, beautiful young women that look at whatever this is and truly think that it is the way that women should look and that it's the beauty standard. You are the beauty standard. You are you. Nobody else is ever gonna look like you, and absolutely embrace everything about you. One of you guys said that I have very unique features, and I thought that was probably one of the most glorious and most wonderful compliments I've ever gotten on my channel, because all of these unique features that you guys are so kind to me about, I used to hate. I wanted to change so badly more than anything because I didn't look like the girls I saw on TV. I didn't look like Kim Kardashian. I didn't look like the baddies. I looked like Lael. And as I'm getting older, I'm learning to really try to embrace that the absolute best that I can, and even more so than I have previously. Now that my rant is done, where do we go from here? Just because all of this is going on doesn't mean that there isn't a wonderful counterculture totally brewing at the exact same time. TikTok tags like #ProAging and Silver Hair Journey rack up millions of views. You shouldn't be trying to crack the code and doing your best to try to look young forever. Instead, you should try to truly put what's healthy for you, your skin, and your body first. You put on sunscreen to help prevent yourselves from being exposed to a ton of UV rays, not to look like a fetus forever. The same goes for any moisturizer or serum or any other thing under the sun. Deep plain facelifts will drop in price, and real change would mean rewriting our current beauty trends. And until then, the cheapest anti-aging solution will always be the most radical. Just turning your cell phone screen off. Girly, turn it off. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please throw a a big fat thumbs up and also comment down below and let me know what you guys would like to see covered in the future. You know, I only make these videos because I love you and I truly want the best for you. If you enjoyed it, you can go ahead and click here to learn all about why Botox is not your friend, and I promise you it will literally make you sick. Girlie, watch the video. You would not believe the things I found. Or you can go ahead and click here to learn all about why a BBL is absolutely life-threatening. All of these things we see on social media that we think are so cutesy girly, no, it could literally end you. I hope you have an amazing day or night or whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you very soon. Mwah. Bye.